Batman begins. It's an analysis of fear.
Nuggy.
I think these chickens have to wash their feet.
Yeah, their feet are looking a little dirty.
Yeah.
How should we try that?
I don't know. Maybe we should just like cut them off.
All right, Hens, we're gonna have to cut your feet off to make sure that you can like keep them clean.
Makes sense, brother.
But then what if
Also, this whole like stimulus package to the people, and everyone's like, we deserve the money, unlike the banksters. And then I'm like, the scariest words you can ever hear in your life are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help you. There's a bunch of chickens on my property that think I'm the good guy because every day I bring them grain. And it's because I'm fattening them up so that I can eat their fat bodies. I'm the government to the chickens. The goats I actually have a good relationship with. You want a relationship with your government? I'm not saying government's bad. I don't believe in anarchy. Government's always going to exist when people don't follow the absolute law of God, which is just the nature of reality, and I've accepted that. But you want to have a relationship like I have with the goats. I want them to thrive so that they give me milk. And I want those chickens to thrive so they give me eggs because they're productive. The dumb meat birds are like, yeah, give me more toilet paper and I want money. And dude, I'm making them fat. They think I'm the good guy. I knock on the door. Hi, chickens. I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Would you like a stimulus package? I just got another 50 birds that the Rangers, those are meat birds, but they take a lot longer to grow. So we will be slaughtering them a lot farther after our other meat birds that grow really fast. All right, if Trump isn't your prez, you don't get any money. I don't care. Take the money, don't give the money. It's a long game. Taking the money won't obligate you to anything right now. It'll change the way you see the world. Let me tell you a quick story and then we'll talk about Batman. I knew a guy whose wife was very attractive. And he was struggling and she was struggling. And there would be these men that would pay her to have dinner with them. And they were these rich, fat, kind of Jabba the Hutt type men. And they did it because it wasn't sex, it wasn't prostitution. She never had to do anything. She just had to give these men company. And then those men would give her like $2,000. They thought that it was so good, you'd have to be a fool to not do that. She was helping the family. He was being a good husband. Guess what happened by the end? I'll let you guys figure out how the dynamic shifted between the husband and the wife because he accepted money in exchange for his wife's company. What do you think happened to the way that woman viewed the man? Despite what she said. Oh, honey, of course, it's no big deal. I just sit with these fat whales and I just listen to him talk. I take the money and I go home. He's like, this is too good to be true. Yes, it is. Any man that shares his wife's company for money, that woman will start. It takes a long time. It's not immediate, right? Just know this. I'm not saying what to do. Take the money, don't take the money, does not matter. Indecent proposal, right? But see, that was about sex. That's too obvious. That's too obvious. Any man that shares his wife for sex is in a whole different category. A man can justify having his wife have a dinner for $2,000 with an extremely ugly old man. She viewed him as a cuck? Yeah. Because then it just starts it, right? If you think a living wage should be paid to you by the government isn't our buddy, guys. The government is here to extract from us. Anyway, all right, she resented him and left him. I'm not going to tell you what happened. I'll let you use your imaginations. All right, let's start off with Batman. And Batman is there's two realities of Batman. As I was watching Batman again last night, because I remember Batman Begins and the fear of it, and Ra's al Ghul, and mastering fear, and how he tried to rip the city of Gotham. I can't wait to explain what all this means. It's going to blow your mind. A cuck, a beta, a simp. Right. So when they send you money, if you act grateful, it's like, oh my God, daddy government's taking care of us. Why do you think your wife doesn't follow your lead? Anyway, and it takes a long time. It's not right away. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe the government gave me money. You didn't earn it. If I send you money because of the good things you add to this community, your wife will respect you for it because the odds are so low. It's like my husband is so valuable that like he has value. Like some random crazy guy who thinks he's a bear in the woods gives him shout outs, promotes his business. It's not just getting money is not what makes you a simp. Selling your wife's company or allowing the government to pay you like your little bitch. That's a lot. That's very different. I'm wearing my Batman shirt from the National Archives. How weird. I bet you are Lady QAnon Bear. Let me get into it. There's two stories within Batman, just like all good modern day, extremely effective mind control weapons. And I like Batman Begins because I followed along from my point of view. And there's enough heroic action and enough truth in it where I saw one movie and then I just watched it last night and I saw a completely different movie. I saw the movie that was there to make people accept certain things. And this becomes very comedic by the end. Just trust me on this. First off, I'm going to give you a broad overview of some of the big points and big lines that I witnessed. And there's a lot of truth in it. But I think the good and bad archetypes are very interesting. All right, let's start off. Bruce Wayne, the heir to the Wayne Foundation, wakes up and finds himself in a Chinese prison, possibly outside of Wuhan. I'm just kidding. But he, as this goes on, you realize that he has allowed himself to be arrested so that he can understand how the underworld thinks. Let me just go through some of the scenes of the movie. So this smiley Asian comes up and says, basically, what are you doing here? Like, and then he says, I'm the devil and you're in hell. That's what this guy says. And then Bruce Wayne does what he always does. He beats the living hell out of everyone because he's in pain, right? Just beatings. The beatings, and I'm not cynical, guys. It's so funny when you see it. All right. The beatings were so bad, and he inflicted so much beatings. This rich Rothschild archetype, literally, he lives in a Rothschild home. That he gets a visit from this man, Ra's al Ghul. Well, at this time, you don't know it's Ra's al Ghul. He says he's working for Ra's al Ghul. He says, Batman says, I beat up 7 men, and he makes sure to say 6, right? And basically, Ra's al Ghul, or the Ra's al Ghul is there to say, listen, I know what motivates you. I'm not going to start off with the funny approach. I'm going to tell you the truth of the matter. All right. This man asks, there's some powerful stuff in this, but later I'll do the comedic reality of it. So this man asks Bruce Wayne, what is it that you want?
Take no prisoners.
He says to turn fear against those who prey on the fearful, because this man realized that Bruce Wayne is not scared of him. Bruce Wayne is a very scared man, but it's not of any of these people that normally evoke fear. So then this man tells Bruce Wayne that he has to go get a blue flower that's very rare on the side of a mountain and hike all the way up to his house, and there he will be trained. And that is the house made of wood, and that is what they say is Ra's al Ghul. And Ra's al Ghul is a brand, which I'll get to. This is right out of like Edward Bernays situation, where it's like, it's an idea is bigger than the man. That is Ra's al Ghul. That's the person playing the role of Ra's al Ghul, but that man in reality has no real power. But Bruce Wayne does not know that. So there's flashbacks, and you see Wayne Towers at the center. Later I'll explain that is a green pyramid at the top, which signifies exactly what that represents and who his family is. But he's from a very wealthy background, except he had a lot of tragedy in his childhood. Many of these types of extremely powerful, rich families will inflict these tragedies on their children to create what I'm about to show you, the archetype I will show you. His father, who was a giant arms dealer, reality, and the richest part of Gotham. Can't wait to tell you what Gotham means, right? One of the petty criminals shoots and kills him after, oh, I forgot to tell you, when Bruce Wayne was a little boy, hey Bears, Money Pyramid, yeah. It seems that Ra's al Ghul has been mentioned in several modern shows. Yeah, he's a very interesting character. All right, so when Bruce Wayne was a boy, he tries to retrieve a Indian spearhead, and he gets attacked by bats, and he becomes extremely scared of bats. Bats is his trigger, his MK Ultra trigger. The W in the building also looks a bit like a trident head too. Yeah, good call, but trauma-based mind control. Yes. And so that fear haunts him, and so him and his father and his mother are watching an opera, and little Bruce gets very scared of the bats, the trigger. And so he asks them to go outside, and then one of the poor people, the desperate people that is part of a city in decay and decline, in Gotham. I'll just wait for what Gotham means. Ends up shooting him, and Bruce thinks it's his fault. And that guilt does not last, just like we all know. Guilt doesn't last. It turns into anger, revenge, lust, wrath, the tickets, the many, many tickets of the wicked. So he pushes his guilt down and goes to China, where he just beats the living hell out of anybody for any reason. You know, and he realized that he's not really like a criminal, because criminals many times will commit crimes to eat, to feed their family. Like, a lot of those guys in there are political dissidents. They're mostly just good guys. And Bruce is like basically a Rockefeller heir, and he goes in there to beat them all so that he can learn how to beat people almost to death, if not to death. Because what he wants to do is blame... I know this sounds cynical, guys, but this is exactly the plot of the movie. It's not cynical. It's actually mind-blowing when you see it. He wants to find that guy. He wanted to find that guy and kill the guy who murdered his parents based on his fear and his desperation. And then when he confronts Falcone, hang on, let me get to that in a second. Where's the Falcone? This gets so fascinating, guys. When he confronts Falcone, you know, the one responsible for all the drugs in the city. No, it's his dad's company. If you're selling bombs, weapons, you're involved in the drug trade. So anyway, Batman has a hat. Beyond, guys. A bat is a vampire that flies through the night. Wait for it. So, there's a lot of truth in this, though. There's a lot of truth in this. Okay, so Falcone basically says, I know you're not scared of me, but you have a lot to lose. You have a family. You have all, you know, you have, I can get to you, rich kid. This is the underworld. You don't understand criminals. Criminals are easy to understand. You don't know desperate, kid. Let me see if there's any of these lines that I wrote down. Where? I don't know. I didn't write it down. But it's like he's saying, you don't know desperate. You've never tasted desperate. You don't know what the underworld's like. So at this point, Bruce Wayne gives up his... There's a lot of heroic aspects of Bruce Wayne. Don't get me wrong. He's focused. He has MK Ultra mind control. So at this point, he says, I have to revenge my father. And this man is right. I'm not scared of him or his gun. But if I don't understand criminality, I can't get my euphoric revenge from murder. So that's when he gives up his jacket and he goes into the underworld. And he just beats the hell out of criminals trying to understand them. Then Ra's al Ghul comes to him and says, I know you... Guys, I relate a little to Batman. I do. This is why when I first saw it, I understand it. Because it's like, he comes and says, I know your rage. I know that you want revenge against those who wronged you. You're extremely talented at what you do. You're effective. This is basically, you know... And this is, along my life, there's been a million of these characters, you know, where it's like... Come with me, I will train you to be more effective. I understand that. And so he goes and he trains. And then, but again, it's not, I have nothing in common with Batman. I'll show you. I'm more in common with Ra's al Ghul. All right, so anyway, one of the most valuable lessons this man tells him. See, this man who's Ra's al Ghul tells Bruce Wayne. He says, "You." No. He says it's not your fault. Your dad died. It's your dad's fault because he didn't act. And that, of course, sends the rich kid into a gamma spiral, in which he just starts flailing. And of course, Ra's al Ghul just sees the openings and just continues to beat the shit out of him. And then finally, in the flailings and in the rage and in the wrath and the homoeroticism, I'll get to that. I'll get to a guy who lives in a cave and won't date women. But right here is a great lesson. See, Ra's al Ghul has the most amount of truth in the whole movie. He says, Bruce Wayne, Bruce Rothschild says, submit, and he says, you took a kill shot to give up your footing. Know your surroundings. And he drops him into the ice cold. And then, of course, this good man here, I swear to God, he's definitely the better guy. Oh, how dare you? Just hear me out. He brings Bruce back to life. Chris Nolan films basically describe himself. So anyway, now is the test for Bruce to see if he's willing to do what's right. So he, with all his teachings, he's given the fear, pumped into him, like the media. You know, like this is his little DMT moment here, where he's like, he's ingesting the fear, and in that state, can he keep his cool, and can he beat the master, the servant of Ra's al Ghul, who's actually Ra's al Ghul? You know, the man behind Ra's al Ghul, who hides in plain sight, just like they always do. And of course he does, because he's very trained, he's very skilled, he's very honed. You know, he's been marked. Ra's al Ghul marks him and is trying to, Ra's al Ghul is trying to give him a lesson. Ra's al Ghul's hubris is what does him in, where he says, never allow yourself to be identified. And then you realize that Bruce Rothschild has marked a bunch of people, so they didn't know who he was. So now is the time for the test. Will you do what's necessary? They found a murderer. This is very important, guys. They found a murderer, someone who murdered someone for food or land or something, a landowner for food. And he's down like this. And Ra's al Ghul says, you must execute this man. And Bruce says, no, I'm not an executioner. And Ra's al Ghul says, you must do what is needed to be done. By the way, murder is punishable by death. Like that, you never want the punishment to outweigh the crime. Like if you steal something, you should not be killed. In Bourne Identity, to really break a man, you have him kill an innocent. Mossad does that. Mossad has you raise a kitten and then murder the kitten. That's how you show you have no conscience. This is how you show you have actual morality. Ra's al Ghul says, you must do what has to be done. This is disease. This will spread, Bruce. If you don't do what the Bible says, an eye for an eye until the whole world is blind. No, that's Gandhi. Why did I just say that? Like a script. That's insane. No, until you say like murder has to be punished by death. It has to fit the crime inflict. And of course, Bruce Wayne says, no, I don't do that. And his good-hearted master says, but you must. You must. This isn't about you, Bruce. It's not about your pain. You have to live for something greater than yourself. And so then, of course, Bruce kills like 40 people and burns down their house. Because Bruce says, no, I will not kill a murderer. I will kill my friends and burn down their whole house so that I don't have to face the reality of execution. If someone murders someone, you cut their head off. He says, no, but we need a trial. And Ra's al Ghul says, this is a murderer. We know he's a murderer. This is a murderer. We know it. What Bruce is saying, no, we need a corrupt system so we can hide our crimes. Like my father, who's an arms and drug dealer. I can't, so anyway, the fall of Batman. There's nothing good about Batman. He's despicable. I can make an argument Bane is a way better guy too. So is the Joker, obviously. They make more logical sense. Bruce here has just learned how to beat the living shit out of everybody. Even though he's anti-gun, oddly. And he burns down everything. All these people that brought him in, taught them the craft, and he refuses to do what needs to be done, which is execute the murderer. Because or else that will spread. But again, the difference between tyranny and justice is tyranny is put someone in a little cage for marijuana. Justice is chop off the head of a murderer, chop off the head, cut off the penis and testicles of a rapist. I'm all about that. Someone is a rapist, they get their testicle and penis removed. It has to be for sure. You have to know it's true. It can't be based on slander. But someone murders, they get killed. Dude, that is biblical truth. Bruce says, no, I want to rage beat up poor people to make myself feel better. And so then he destroys, he burns down the house of his master. And then this is a powerful scene when he goes back and he accepts his darkness. He now thrives in the bats, right? This is why a lot of the elites will rape kids and then take pride in it, because their childhood trauma was based on child rape. So then when they get older, they accept it. They say, not only am I not scared of bats, I am a bat. This is how pedophilia spreads. This is the thing right here. This is a masterful spell. So now, what happens to a lot of elites and a lot of bankers and politicians and a lot of people that are quote unquote in control? They are raped as kids. This is tradition. They're beaten. They're neglected. Their father works too much. They're sent to boarding schools. They're treated like shit. Disagree with the analysis. The prisoner was innocent. Roz was lying to control Bruce. Hey, Batman Bear, are you biased? I rewound and watched the whole thing. Can you prove the man was innocent? No, Batman Bear. You may want to rethink your bear name. So you're assuming that he's lying, but yet when Bruce Wayne beats the ever-living shit, like gives concussions and probably kills a lot of dock workers that are just loading boxes to get like $20 an hour, was that justified? Like someone just moving boxes because they're being coerced because of a horrible economy? When Bruce comes down and just beats the shit out of them and then just drives his truck over a bunch of cop cars, was that a trick? Yeah, Batman Bear's banned if he talks again. He's got to go back to his cave with his teens in their spandex. Anyway, yeah, you become what you hate. Right, so again, instead of accepting God the Father, instead of giving, the only way out is God. A lot of people here can attest to that. So he accepts the evil. He says the evil is good. The abortion is good. The forced vaccinations, which is in this movie, is good. I am now abortion man. I am now pedophile man. I am now Batman. Instead of being scared of flying disease-carrying parasites, I'm going to become one. And he does. With his Rockefeller money that is because of all of the drug and arms sales. Do you remember the scene when his butler, the MI6 handler, says, "Do you know, Bruce, we were once getting emeralds and diamonds out of Africa. Why? Why were you there? Hey, butler. Why were you in Africa extorting rubies and emeralds and diamonds?" You want to give a little more backstory to that? And then he talks about a bandit, and the bandit wouldn't stop from being bought off, so they had to burn down his entire village and all the forests. And then they realized that the ruby, he had all these rubies because some men just want to watch the world burn. No, some men want to protect their way of life from British imperialism. Maybe that bandit saw the reality of diamonds and rubies and emeralds, that they have no actual value. And the value is in his people. And so for some reason, a butler that happens to be handling this billionaire vigilante also used to go to Africa to extort rubies, emeralds, and diamonds. This is all very obvious stuff, guys. Leave Ben Bear alone. He's been around for a few years and you all had no problem with him before. Hey, you're now banned for life, Captain Scarecrow. Oh no, I just timed him out. Can someone, oh no. Hang on, I got it. Banned for life. Being here for years means absolutely nothing. You don't come here and speak nonsense. Batman Bear is very biased. His name is Batman Bear. Before I continue, just so that everyone, you know what? I'm going to put just subscribers on again. He's been here for years. Well, what that means to me? Nothing. I value loyalty. I don't value time. There's people I've known for 3 weeks that I trust more than people I've known for 10 years that just hang around and suckle off my comedic brilliance. You being here is not helping me unless you bring something to the table. So just coming to the greatest live stream on the internet, fact, you want me to feel thankful? Where I'm like, oh, Batman Bear here, just some random retard with a Batman avatar who wants to say nonsense while I'm crushing. What do I owe him? He owes me. If you want to come here and listen to the gravy flowing out of my mouth, fearlessly crushing with love and gratitude in one of the biggest global psyops in history, you should feel grateful. You know what? Batman Bear, you're allowed back. P.O. Box 727, Gig Harbor, Washington, 98335. Handwritten letter. Tell me why bats are bad, and then give me money, or else you're not allowed back. Anyway, like right now, what I'm saying is mind-blowing. Wait till we get to the microwave weapons. So he's now accepting his horror as his strength. He is Darkness Man. Okay, so then he goes and beats the living shit out of everybody that's around Falcone just to get to Falcone, and then he puts him in a Christ-like position behind a giant light. Where does he get all his gear from? A man working in the basement selling arms named Lucius Fox. Lucius means bearer of light, and Fox is in numerology is 666. Oh, how dare you! Lucius means light bearer, and Fox is 666. So with all the weapons of war that Lucius Fox is now giving Batman, he can go put these people in Christ-like positions and then beat the living shit out of people moving boxes for $12 an hour. In fact, there's one scene, and bear in mind, Batman's money comes from the selling of weapons, illegal weapons, and drugs. There's just a dock worker, guys like me or Ryan, somebody that easily could have done that job moving stuff. Just don't ask what's in the box, I'll pay you and you'll feed your family. Okay, he's taking a piss. Batman, who's anti-gun, comes down and bang, just bangs his head against the wall, basically screaming that he hates everyone that doesn't have to hide behind a mask. Of course, he has no children, and he hangs out in a cave with a runaway, broken teen in spandex, and then he sends them out on very dangerous missions, and then they go back to their cave. Rachel, which means lamb, he keeps on the hook and stalks her, although he never has sex with her, and he has no children because he's, of course, in the cave with the bats and the broken teens. And they wear spandex and they run around beating everyone because they're in pain. Batman Bear, you may want to think of a different name. Just wait. Okay, so now Wayne Enterprises has developed a super bomb, which is a 5G micro. Again, the 5G thing doesn't scare me. I don't even think it's a thing. I think it's a distraction. But this is some gravy. So this vaporizes water in the desert. What if they said water in the Alps? You think the Caucasian audience would go, wow, what a bunch of crazy murderers. No, they say desert because the MK Ultra training in the media, the pipeline full of fear, water, air, doesn't matter. BB the Idol Slayer, yeah. What about Alfred? He's an MI6 handler. He was in Africa smuggling out emeralds and diamonds and somehow had the power to burn down a whole forest. And then had the balls to call that guy a bandit because they were trying to starve the Anglo beast that was killing their people. Batman is global homo? Beyond. Okay, so again, when you hear desert, you think, well, those people should die because desert means ISIS, which means Ariana Grande 9/11, which means death. That's how stupid people have become based on mind control and trauma. But you have to understand, this is a weapon that Bruce Wayne made probably billions of dollars on, which vaporizes the water of a civilian population. But now it's been stolen by a competitor. Oh no. So, this guy Falcone is doing soy mouth here because he's been. This is when things get around. I won't. There is some truth in here. So this man now is the Jeffrey Epstein. He's in custody, and he's saying, tell Ra's al Ghul, if you don't let me out, I'll talk. I know a lot about a lot of stuff. And in comes in Scarecrow. And Scarecrow says, would you like to see my mask? And he's like, yeah, whatever. And he puts it on, and then he uses the weaponized DMT, which they got from the flowers in that one region of China, which makes you predict. This is the key thing. This is the truth of Batman. This is why they can sell all the agendas to good people. Why a billionaire who somehow manipulates police forces with a lot of gear, how we buy that and say, yeah, anti-gun, just killing everyone because you're in pain, run around in spandex, no kids, teens, and yeah, of course. So anyway, this is the hopeful thing, and this is the truth of Batman Begins. The way Ra's al Ghul is going to take down Gotham. You know what Gotham means? I'm just going to tell you before I go on. Gotham means homestead where goats are kept. Anything on that one, Batman? When originally used in England, the meaning of the place named Gotham, homestead where goats are kept, from Old English got, goat, and ham, hold. Gotham, goat home. As Gotham City, name of the fictional home Batman, first mentioned in Batman. Okay, so it is a place where goats live. And so you have Batman Rothschild is at the top of the Illuminati Green Pyramid in his building, which represents the Federal Reserve, in my opinion. The fear train almost gets it. Anyway, so every enemy to Batman are people trying to free the goats because they probably don't see them as goats. So Batman is a billionaire who is what I believe to be a pedophile. He's in a cave all the time with teens in S&M gear. And all they do is inflict violence on poor people trying to make their way. And he refuses to, and he keeps acting like he can't date a girl because he's forced to wear a mask. And he hates every man that doesn't have to wear the mask. And he says it's to protect people, but really he almost gets her killed like every day. Like every day his relationship to his alleged love interest almost gets her murdered. But yet he won't put her in his castle. He lets her drive her little 91 Geo Metro away from his castle because God forbid he actually provides any protection or love or logos. No, he lets her live, and then he spies on her so that he can what? He can get off as he pounds on random cops just trying to do their job, and he breaks their cars and all this stuff. Meanwhile, she almost dies until he vaxes her without guns, of course. And so then he can't be with her, you see, but she can't be with anyone else because that's his beard, to be in the cave with the teens in the spandex. Hey, Batman Bear, how's your little avatar doing? It does get her murdered. I'm just talking about Batman Begins. All right, so anyway, the cave is a problem. The cave is a problem. His butler that extorted diamonds out of Africa and felt the need to burn down a village to prove a point that someone was a bandit. His MI6 hand, okay, and then also he triangulates everyone using a phone, like the NSA, but it's to get the Joker. Because of course no one likes Jokers! And Mr. Freeze just wanted to freeze his assets. And Bane just wanted to bring something beautiful out of a pit of hell that his family probably created as like a prison camp in the Middle East where they were extorting all the opium. It's like Batman is the bad guy of the bad guys. But of course it's justified because he was scared of bats as a kid, and now he identifies with a flying vampire. Anyway, because he's using fear. He's using fear, but see, he justifies it because he's gonna fight the people who use fear against him. Do you understand there's a scene in Batman when he's sitting there, there's lightning everywhere, and he says, quote unquote, there's a storm coming? This is not scary, guys, this is hysterical. A billionaire playboy that lives in a green pyramid in the heart of the goat farm. Anyway. Oh, wait. Dude, I was dying laughing by the end. So anyway, the fear, this is the good news about this. This is the truth drop that will actually help you. The fear was always in the man's mind because he didn't have true devotion to God. His psychosis, his soy face, was created by him. They have no weapons. Even the mass chemical weapon. This is so important, guys. And then when they weaponize it using their 5G microwaves, it still only makes you see what you see. It brings out your fears, your horror. I'm seeing it all around me right now. Those pipelines are not piping what? That's the media. Water, air, doesn't matter. The vector is the water, and that is the fear. But the fear, they can't just give you fear. If you are not, the thing that they leave out in Batman, they do this on purpose because it has to be a true thing. They can't just lie. They have to make you think, they have to make you root for the vampire. So they make you think that the bad guys are poisoning everybody, but in reality, they are bringing out the fears in them, which is a direct reflection of their abandonment of God. Ra's al Ghul is not the bad guy. Ra's al Ghul he's not a good guy per se. He's an act of nature, in my opinion. In my opinion, Ra's al Ghul is the act of nature that comes from a departure from Logos. And God's laws are how you protect yourself from all of these misadventures. And Batman is a very broken MK Ultra kid with unlimited money. I believe to be a pedophile, and he beats the hell out of low-ranking criminals with all his technology that he acquired through his dad's weapons business to make himself feel better. So not only is he a vampire parasitic psychopath who gets everyone close to him killed, he justifies it by saying he's actually the good guy. Okay. So now what are we seeing? This is why I watched the movie. I found out yesterday that county jails in San Francisco are releasing their criminals. And I know this for a fact, the police have been ordered to stand down. That triggered a memory in me of Batman Begins. I said, wow, that is a plot point of a movie I know I've seen. So this is the test. Ra's al Ghul is upon us. It's why God allows Satan. It's nature. It's the reveal of the sin. It's literally like being tested. It's like your soul being tested. Like, will you survive? So when you're in Gotham, when you're in the goat pen, the goat pen is what Gotham means in Old English. Goat homestead. Goat farmer. I know the synchronicities are off the chain. Wait, what? Oh, yeah. But see, here's the problem. You should have left San Fran years ago. There's not really very many people left there that, I don't want to sound cold, but like, it's like Sodom and Gomorrah. It's like, if at this point you're still living in a $20,000 a month apartment on the backs of the poor, as you just step over human excrement every single day, and you're like, this is where I should live. And like news reports are telling you like there's shit and crime everywhere. Silicon Valley's destroying people's families. And you're like, yeah, I'm here. They're now getting payback. And this is Sodom and Gomorrah, guys. It has to get to the point where there's no good men left. None. So now, dude, guys, right now in San Francisco, and I'm not a fear spreader. This is a fact. The county jails are releasing a lot of their criminals under this narrative, and the police are told to stand down. Why do I believe that? Why do I know that's true? Because the police were told to stand down for Antifa. People like me who's been spreading truth and been staring into the eyes of the true evil of this world, trying to figure it out to help my family and to serve God, know that this is not only possible, it's happening. And so this isn't like a death sentence. You know, one of my friends was spiraling yesterday because he was like, you know, he's a relatively known comedian. And he was like, basically like, oh, dude, this is it's pretty intense. Quarantine, no one can work, food shortages, martial law, stock market crash. I wrote, cops have already been told to stand down and they're releasing the prisoners. And he wrote, what do you mean? I wrote, San Fran, they're releasing prisoners and cops have been ordered to not respond to calls. It's a demolition of major cities. He wrote, where are you hearing that? I wrote, my buddy in Homeland Security. Doesn't matter that much if you know your neighbors and are armed. And the people who called me a Nazi for owning a gun, who now desperately want one, are just revealing they never even believed it. They just condemn me for social points, which is biblically evil. You'll be okay because you're a pretty good dude. You didn't turn on me like them. It's not about me, but it's a reflection of your character. It's a good litmus test. The most valuable thing in the world is people you've been kind to. The tide is retreating and everything is being exposed for what it is. Sodomy and debt is sterile. Castles made of sand, and it's going to get way, way more intense. Get in network with people in your area, water, bullets, etc. Race lines will be a factor, and no political correct doublespeak will stop it. People get very tribal when they're starving. You'll be good, bro. Just don't lie to yourself about what the reality of the situation is. Listen to this with your wife. It'll calm you down. I sent him yesterday's stream. No response. It's like, okay, remember when it's like, oh my God, intolerance. It's like, wait till a gang of Armenians sees that you have, I won't even use white, black, none of that. That's all nonsense. Wait till the Koreans see, like, they're organized. Anybody that understands ethnic identity in Los Angeles is fine. Korean neighborhoods, Armenian neighborhoods, they're business as usual, man. They see you as the goat hem, the goat homestead. You're a goat for slaughter. And right now, your sins are being revealed. When people told me I should turn in my AR-15 because the police are there to help me, I realized, no, it's my God-given right to have that. They called me a Nazi. They said they did everything to me, but nothing mattered. They were just words of liars. Now, as the prisoners are being opened, the prisons are being opened and the cops are ordered to stand down because they can't do anything. There's not enough. There's no way to stop the crimes now. I'll tell you who the evil people are, and I'll tell you who the people that I respect. If you were anti-gun and you called me literally Hitler, and you stick with that now in San Fran, in LA, God bless you, my friend. You know? Because that means you really believed it. You really believed the lie. That's why I got out of hell. Because I never went against truth. I believed every stupid thing I was doing. If you in 24 hours change your opinion on guns, I changed my opinion on guns when my friend was gang raped and the police didn't do anything. And I told this to everybody. I said, they're not here to help you. They come with a pencil, there's no CSI squad, and they don't return because it's too many people. And I said, by the way, you might want to check out the Mexican neighborhoods, the Armenian neighborhoods, the Korean neighborhoods. There is ethnic lines in the sand where if this thing pops off, just like with the LA riots, being white becomes a factor. And they're like, how dare you? Well, now, literally, the jails are being opened. And if you have basic community, guys, this is not even that big of a test. Basic community, basic survival ability with like a few weeks of food, I think this thing is going to blow over. Dude, even in the narrative they're giving us, apparently Wuhan, China doesn't have any more cases coming up. This narrative is running its course, in my opinion. I don't think it will go super long. I think the economic effects will go for a long time. And the psychological operations will have dramatic effects. But I can tell the viral narrative, the novel virus. And I won't say whether it's true or false. I don't know. But I know what they tell me. They say novel corona, which means a story. And if people say, well, someone tested positive. Yes, that's why it says it fights coronavirus on the back of your Lysol cans, because the coronavirus, to my knowledge, is the common cold. So this test wave, this contraction is already slowing down. So that the quarantines will end, all of it will end, but if you are of that bottom feeding class, your life will never be the same. A lot of them will end up in a position that is, horror doesn't begin to describe it. And they won't know why. Like, my buddy didn't even write me back. I was like, it's like they don't know where it's coming from. They're like, dude, it's crazy down here. I'm like, right. Remember 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago when I was saying this is a hall of mirrors? And you can survive this thing right in the heart of LA. No one's kicking in your doors. It has to be done to yourself. Raz Al Ghul. he's allowed, that God allows the devil to do a very, very, very functional purpose. The bacteria, the breaking down of the dead. I'm understanding Satan a lot more now. It's like, it's his curse. He went against God. He's cursed to inflict, but he can only inflict on people that accept him, that have degraded themselves to the point of goat pen. God protects you when you speak the truth. Guys, race is a thing. Oh my God, everyone's the same, dude. That's a test from and Ra's al Ghul gets to clean it up. And dude, and this is the thing about this. You can't be friends with my wife is part mestizo. I allegedly might be an 8th Grabbler, Ashkenazi, like this kind, not like the nice Semites. I'm allegedly you can't trust any of them though. I don't even know if I'm parted. But these guys, allegedly, I have 1/8 of that in me. Doesn't matter. I'm still a great guy. People accept me. When you're a stranger and when people are starving, like right now, if I had a neighbor that was black and me and him had a relationship, his skin means nothing to me. Literally. Like he'd get milk, he'd get eggs, we'd hang out, we'd barbecue. If he's a stranger and he's just been looking at me like this for a while, not following God's law, that's my enemy. And he thinks I'm his enemy. Because all these spells have told me that they're responsible for all the crime and we're responsible for all their financial problems. That's the spells, right? So if you don't actually know people, if you don't have a community, if you don't have people, those spells just go, white people are the reason we don't have jobs and everyone's in jail. And then we go, black people are biologically hardwired to commit a ton of crime and rape everybody. And then it's just, and meanwhile, the people that just didn't take the tickets, you could be sitting on a porch with a black guy and drinking a beer. But it's because you've reached out kindness. You've reached out logos. Me and my neighbors are cool as shit, and we all have different opinions on what's happening. Dude, it's that God-fearing baseline. And then you just feel the wave. Just Ra's al Ghul means ghost race. Right, and then so Ra's al Ghul comes back to Bruce's party, and he's with all the billionaire class, which he's with his banking elite friends. This is how manipulative this movie is. He's with his banking elite friends, his weapons dealers, his opioid dealers, the Sackler family's there, the Rothschilds are there, the Rockefellers. Guys, he lives in a real-life Rockefeller home. It's right on the nose because God has to tell you straight up before you do it. But they make you worship the power. They make you worship the sex. And then you earn your death. And Ra's al Ghul comes, and of course Bruce lies to get everybody out. He's just like, your people suck. And everyone's like, what a good guy. He doesn't have to endure social shame. He's the goat farmer. Those people come back the next week because he's the richest guy in the world, allegedly. But he's a cave-dwelling alleged pedophile. And so this is when Ra's al Ghul says stuff like, people are not supposed to live in despair and in this wretched, filthy life, basically. I want to know if I wrote it down. He's like, we were the ones who sacked Rome because it had gotten so far it needed a reset. He's right. Gotham had gotten to, like, Bruce Wayne, his entire lifestyle, after his house burns down, they didn't think twice about building another one. Guys, with that stone masonry and shit, that's like $1 billion house. And they're like, we build again, except a bigger pedo dungeon, right? And it's like, and this guy is like, maybe you should stop exploiting off the backs of its citizens and making them beg for their own enslavement. The drug trade, all of it was because of his dad and him. And they tried to make him out to be a good guy because, he did mass transportation. He had a train, and he was anti-gun. Anyway, so then you see what the Rothschild house really is. It's a house of horror and fire, and it burns to the ground in a cleansing wave. And then you have martial law. Does any of this sound familiar, guys? So no one's allowed in or out because there's a massive quarantine. A quarantine for what reason? Because the fear is about to be released. It's the test. It's the global test. Just like when you actually get a flu or a cold. And I'm not saying to run up and like lick someone's face. It's the fear. It's the buying all the toilet paper. These are all satanic jokes that I find funny now. I don't accept Satan. I understand his purpose. It's just like coyotes and mold and bacteria. Until everybody lives the way God commands, Satan will have a feast. That's the point. He eats weakness. He burns dead wood. This is Gotham has become dead wood. And it doesn't kill everybody. It kills the percent of the population that freaks out so much that they can't function. Because the fear is a reflection of your own mind. The scarecrow is like, I'm obsessed with the mind because it's so much more powerful than the body. A broken mind, and he's just ladling gravy. He's basically saying, when people like Edward Bernays, he made Jungian archetypes and to get people to start breakfast and like ballet and all this, and then he sold World War I. He sold it with victim consciousness. He sold it with heroic consciousness. All these heroes. He did it through the Greek myths. That's why when people say, "Oh, don't read the myths, it's satanic," know where they're doing this from. The Jungian archetypes, the myths, that's how you are hardwired. Are you Zeus? Are you a good Delta, like Sisyphus? Like these things are ingrained in us. You push the boulder because one day you just push the boulder. It's a good Delta. These aren't evil art. This is just what is. Helen, the face that launched 1,000 ships. You got to know all these things. And so now the place is on lockdown. So what starts happening? This is just like right. And guys, this happens all the time. This is Black Lives Matter right here, right? So this guy, consumed with fear, now appears like this. The blacks see the cop like that. In reality, he's just a homely, broken little man. And he doesn't want to run around just shooting blacks. He wants to steal falafel money and just make it work. My mind is being gravy. Yes. The black then, who believes the fear because of his sin, views the cop like that. But in reality, the cop is this. But with the fear, the media, it's that. You understand? And so now he sees the black people like complete demons because he's under the same fear. You're projecting what's in your mind. And I'm not saying that there's some cops aren't bad and some blacks aren't. These categories are amplified by here. I know my archetypes. I know, like Israel is in my head. Dude, these fear triggers, that's when you really understand God's grace, where you're like, you start ramping up, like, oh, those damn grabblers. And then I'm like, but what is an Israel? Like, what is a banker? Like, what are these archetypes that's in my head? This is all God and Satan, the whole thing. And if you can guide a banker out of the darkness, if you can guide an Israeli or guide a black kid or a cop, dude, you see that we are God's children, all of us. Like when people deny race reality see here, both of these things are true and false at the same time. We're all God's children. There really is no lines between race, religion, any of that stuff. That's true because we are all given the divine spark, which is the most defining thing about us. And when people get hungry, that's what the Joker was trying to teach people. A hungry dog will eat each other because that is the sin revealing itself. In areas with high sin, low trust, you will see lines breaking down race, right? Like, bam. And then being white skin matters a lot. Ask anyone who's done Supermax time. Anybody. Your affiliation is about your skin. You want to bet? In Supermax lockdown situations? Yeah, of course there'll be like some beautiful things will happen. Like Vox's dad, he was doing all this free legal work for all these like thugs and they all like treat him like a godfather. Because again, that's the trust that builds. But in a high stress situation, Supermax lockdown, boom, skin color, boom, tat on face, like whatever those external things, you don't see the divine spark when you're escalated in fear. And so at every level of those places, by the way, Batman Bear right now is just a mess. I guarantee it. At each level of stressor, the fear response gets there. And dude, this is the whole game. It's right here. It's right here. It's your heart and your mind and your anus And I mean that because that's the root chakra that roots you to this place. Joe Rogan, all he's thinking about right now is somebody, please enter me. You know, and that's a weakness. All right. Fear response back to tribe. Always. Like, especially like Denmark bear, like this mass migration stuff. When you see a ton of people that don't look like you, they don't act like you, they're not fitting into society, you get a response. Don't get me wrong. The reality of the situation is it's out of everyone's hands. It's not that guy and it's not you. They were sold a spell. Their places were bombed. They got in debt. They were told that they're going to get PlayStations and blind girls. They're not coming because they're Muslim, guys. They're coming because of their sin. It's a double-edged sword, right? And so the Danish, no offense, Denmark Bear, but it's time to offend you a little bit. You guys lost your way. You guys watched too many pornos, and you guys didn't have Ra's al Ghul will extract you. You know, you start believing everything that the pill companies tell you, or the news and all that stuff, and you now don't have a bond with your neighbor, with that neighbor, and you don't have a people, you don't have a nation. It's going to get overtaken by Ra's al Ghul, and that's nature. That's good. It reminds you what matters. When you look at that black migrant holding a machete, just going la 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 la, I get it. But that is it's a response. The banking elite, Ra's al Ghul, the League of Shadows, they know that you fucked up so much, you'll take it. You'll take it. And then you have to rebuild. That's the thing, is they don't just win. It's a cycle. It's the moon and the sun. It's the moon and the sun. The moon decays, the sun grows. Decays, grows, decays, grows. Now the Danes, what do you think's going to happen in Denmark now with political correctness? If you see people saying, oh, we got to welcome in everybody because of the Harry Potter author, next round's going to be worse. If you didn't learn your lesson right now about gun control, abortion, open borders, guys, open borders is not good. Mass migration is not good. Both parties are screwed. Like, they sell a lie to these Somalians with, like, I'm not saying that. People are like, oh, defend the Muslims. They ain't acting Muslim, guys. Their ticket was, if you go to Denmark and piss off Denmark Bear, who's just trying to get by, we'll give you PlayStations, free money, and blonde girls. Guys, it's a Faustian deal. And the Danes are like, don't have kids, pull out, you know, take abortion pills. Oh, disco, pumpy. And they're like, yeah, and they don't have a fucking population. The birth rate goes down to the point where the bankers can sell that you need more people because someone kept pulling out because you just wanted to come and watch your pornos. And meanwhile, Batman is just this MK Ultra freak in his giant castle trying to not relive his horrors from his childhood. So what does he do? He drives his like military grade thing everywhere, corrupts the police office, beats the hell out of everybody, dresses in a black S&M gear, spandex, and lures a bunch of troubled teens to play Robin with him. And meanwhile, he can't have a wife or kids because he doesn't want to get them in trouble as he kills them. And who does he beat up the most? Who does he beat up the most? He's having a battle with archetypes. The Joker, Bane of existence. The Joker, Bane, Mr. Freeze, Scarecrow, they're all morally superior to Batman. You understand that? The Joker simply wants people to see the duality of life. That major scene when all his people all shot each other for him to get the gold, ticket. He was revealing nature. He wasn't murdering. He says, you take the money and then shoot someone. Okay, boom. And then that guy gets shot. Boom. And then that guy gets shot. And then what does he do? He leaves in a yellow school bus. So it's like, and then what is he doing? He's showing that when the chips are down, they will eat each other. And then when they don't, he loses because he's not actually, he's bringing up so many good points. Why can we have a truckload of soldiers die and no one cares? But one little mayor and everyone loses their mind. He's right. Why is the life of a mayor a parasite of Gotham, the goat pen? Why is that man more valuable than our children fighting a foreign war? The Joker gets it. Does he fear God? No. These are Jungian archetypes. He's not a God-fearing man. He blows up a hospital to prove a point. I get it. But he isn't motivated simply by his MK Ultra training and his MI6 butler handler. Batman is a mess. All his money comes from weapon sales. Oh, this suit was $300,000, but I guess that wasn't worth the life of a soldier. Well, then lower the price! Do you understand who the bad guy is in that scenario? He was trying to sell body armor for $300,000. Oh, you can't afford it? You live in a fucking castle that when it burns down, you don't even care. So if that wasn't worth it, so $300,000 is not worth the life of a soldier. So then lower the price. But we can't. How are we supposed to beat the shit out of everybody every night and then go to our cave and have our festivities? Psychos. Psychopaths. It's crazy that you think they're the good guys. Joker is a good one also. He's not good. He's nihilism. He's what I do for a living. I'm not nihilistic at all, but the joke is to reveal. It's to reveal. All he does is reveal. He holds up a mirror and says, who are you to judge me? You're all so worried about your precious money. He burns it. And he watches them go, and he goes, that's a lie. There's things more important than money. That's what the Joker says, not Batman. Batman's like, Rachel, I can't be over because I'm playing make-believe with my buddies and we're gonna fuck. It's so fucking stupid, guys. Rachel, I need to wear the mask. And every laborer at the docks who doesn't have to wear the mask, I beat them really bad with all my Israeli technology. Ugh. I watched the movie a couple weeks ago. Lucius Fox jumped out. Lucius means light bearer fox. No, Fox is 666 in numerology. Bane is the man. Dude, Bane saw a beautiful child in the pit of hell. Probably there because they tried to go against his butler or him with the arms dealing. And he did anything to get the child out. And then all the truth in these movies is from the villains. The child can jump because the child doesn't have fear. That scene, like one of my very good friends is a gymnast coach. And it's like the child, it's all fear that breaks your neck. You know, it's when you're not supposed to jump backwards, but if you have no fear, if you have the muscle memory, if you you literally don't even think about it. It's like me with stand-up. It's like me with all this shit. It's like I don't even think about it. The fear cripples you. You know, and the child hasn't been programmed by Bruce Wayne media yet. So he just jumps. Or the child jumps and gets out. And you see Bane and so Bane wears a mask because his face was ripped off saving a child. And Bane wanted to get rid of the goat herder in Gotham and teach people. You know, and it's like, oh, anarchy. No, it wasn't anarchy. He had the people in charge of their judges. The judges, the corrupt judges became the people, and then everyone was like, oh, it's run by goats and monkeys. No, that's from the perspective of the Rothschild called Batman. I'm dying. This is the funniest stream in a while. Well, thank you, Badger Bear. I wonder what Batman Bear is doing right now. But he's been here since the beginning. Well, he can go back into his cave and whack on. Batman's villains are unparalleled in comedic. It's like all the truth is there, and then at the end when Ra's al Ghul is trying to show Batman that these people have to be freed from his demonic control. They have to face their fears. They have to be cleansed of their sin, because he doesn't kill them. Ra's al Ghul does not kill people. Ra's al Ghul does not. He reveals the sin in people. And so they're on the train, the fear train, headed straight for the Green Pyramid. Guys, the symbolism beats you over the head with it. The fear train is trying to get to the heart of this whole monster, the Batman, the billionaire guy who influences all the police departments and then does all this weird shit and just bangs kids. And at the end, Batman kills him, but without any responsibility, just like the Gamma male. Batman is the epitome of a Gamma male. He goes, I'm not gonna kill you, but I don't have to save you. So I just talmudically set up a situation where I have no guilt. You're just gonna die from the train that I'm sending to the building. And then he flies away. And then Ra's al Ghul, because he's good, he's connected to the truth, harmony. He's bringing back harmony. What does he do? Does he freak out like Batman? No, it's not my dad's fault. I don't want him to bat. No, he just closes his eyes and accepts it. It's beautiful. Ra's al Ghul is a very inspiring character. He's spiraling because Batman did have his son, but he's missing all the gravy You're ladling BB. Well, I'll ban him for life as soon as he comes back. Oh, Batman has a son. Yeah, so does Tom Hanks. So does Steven Spielberg. Batman Bear is crying on a rooftop overlooking the city while vaping. Hey, love! What's up? What time? Okay, I'll read the mail and then I'll come inside.
Well done, guys. Keep it up.
Yeah. I'll get the alpacas in. Just let me read a couple letters. Alright, cool. I'll read a couple letters, guys. And again, if you want to support the stream, P.O. Box 727, Gig Harbor, Washington, 98335. Alright. Dear Owen, thanks again for dispelling the... Oh, and by the way, upload this video I'm doing right now to all your YouTubes. Google, there's a crack in the matrix right now, and they're not censoring, and I don't know why. So do that. Batman is a big porn producer. He makes microwave weapons to get rid of civilian water. It's just unbelievable that people are like, I'm Batman Bear. Okay, Batman Bear, do you live in a cave with a little spandexed out kid? Chuck Dixon gets it. Dude,